Jungkook's mother cries in front of Bigot office, allegedly failed to meet son due to internal contract issues. Is the bond between an idol and his mother now being severed by the very company he helped build? Has HYBE, formerly seen as BTS's greatest supporter, become the obstacle between Jungkook and the woman who raised him? And more importantly, is this emotional fracture a sign that Jungkook's contract negotiations have taken a darker turn than anyone expected? In a moment that has sent shockwaves through ARMY communities worldwide, a woman identified by eyewitnesses as Jungkook's mother was reportedly seen in tears outside the HYBE building in Yongsan, Seoul. The image, described by multiple sources as heartbreaking, is now at the center of a growing firestorm. Whispers turned into uproar. Fan speculation morphed into something more troubling. Why would Jungkook's mother be standing outside the company's doors, visibly distraught? Why wasn't she allowed in? And what, exactly, is HYBE trying to hide? It didn't take long for online platforms to explode with theories. And none of them paint a comforting picture. Some insiders suggest that the reason behind the emotional breakdown wasn't personal rejection, but bureaucratic restraint. According to sources close to the situation, Jungkook's current military status should have allowed for private family visits under monitored conditions. Yet, when his mother arrived unannounced, or perhaps informally scheduled, she was allegedly told by internal HYBE staff that such a meeting was not permitted.
No elaboración. No justificación.
Just the word, denied. And then she cried. What could drive a mother, known for her quiet dignity and unconditional support, to break down in public? And more importantly, what does this mean for the future of Jungkook's relationship with a company that raised him from a teenager to a global icon? The timing is far from coincidental. As fans already know, Jungkook is nearing the completion of his mandatory military service, a return that was once anticipated with joy. But behind the scenes, the tone has shifted. Rumors of contract friction have been bubbling for months. Allegedly, Jungkook has not yet finalized a new agreement with HYBE for his post-military activities. And while fans were led to believe this was just a matter of scheduling and artistic direction, this new incident suggests something far more personal, far more painful. Could it be that the refusal to allow his mother into the building was part of a larger internal power move? Could the company be leveraging access, emotional access, as a way to pressure Jungkook into compliance? It's a disturbing theory, but not one that fans are taking lightly. Even more unsettling are the whispers coming from individuals claiming to work inside HYBE. A staff member who spoke on the condition of anonymity allegedly stated, "Everything changed when it became clear Jungkook wanted more independence. There were concerns about him starting his own brand or launching personal projects without HYBE's full control. That's when things got tense." That statement now feels loaded with meaning, especially if, according to speculation, Jungkook's refusal to sign an all-encompassing contract is now affecting even his personal life, his family, his mother. Let that sink in. This isn't just about creative rights. This isn't about money, tour schedules, or distribution control. This is about a mother, separated from her son, standing outside a building that her son helped elevate to global power. And she's crying. What kind of industry have we created where that's even possible? Social media has already erupted. Hashtag Let Her See Him and hashtag Protect Jungkook's Mom are trending globally, with millions expressing outrage and disbelief. Fans are posting letters, art, and heartbreaking video compilations demanding a response, not just from HYBE, but from Jungkook himself. But so far, nothing has been officially confirmed or denied. And that silence, it's deafening to eye in the hours that followed the incident. The HYBE building seemed to close in on itself. Curtains were drawn, doors remained shut, and for the first time in a long while, silence echoed louder than the fan chants that once surrounded it. The woman standing outside that day wasn't just a mother. She was the symbol of something fans had feared for years. Proof that even BTS members, once thought to be untouchable, were still under a system that controlled access not just to their schedules, but to their humanity. Was this heartbreak simply a miscommunication or a deliberate move? Some fans turned to archived interviews and fan cafe notes in search of clues. They pointed out how Jungkook always spoke warmly of his family, especially his mother. In one broadcast, he even revealed that during tough times, he would only cry when thinking of how hard his mom worked for him. She wasn't just a parent, she was his safe place. So why would the company keep them apart? More chillingly, online detectives have begun connecting dots between this moment and earlier signs of tension. A few months prior, Jungkook went notably silent on Weverse. There was a sudden halt in his military letters, and fans speculated burnout. But now, the theory gaining traction is far darker. What if he had already begun pulling away, not from ARMY, but from the company itself? Whispers of restricted access started circulating in the fan base. HYBE was allegedly implementing tighter layers of approval around Jungkook-related communication. Everything from content planning to social media interactions reportedly required multiple sign-offs. The reason? Sources say it's tied to internal contract negotiations that hit a breaking point when Jungkook allegedly rejected a clause that would limit independent content creation after his military service. And now, weeks before his return to civilian life, his mother couldn't walk through the doors to say, "Welcome back." It's a cruel irony that the idol once celebrated as the golden magne might be the very one most shackled by the invisible contracts binding Korea's entertainment elite. But this isn't just about a mother or an idol. It's about a machine. A system that demands loyalty in exchange for fame. A system that, when challenged, doesn't flinch. It punishes. The question fans are now asking is, what happens next? Insiders hint that Jungkook might not return to HYBE's structured content system at all. Rumors of his desire to form an independent production team, launch a personal channel, and even seek international collaborators without HYBE's branding have been simmering beneath the surface. But with every move toward freedom, the walls seem to tighten. Everything has a cost, one anonymous staffer reportedly said. And Jungkook wanting autonomy? That's the kind of request that comes with consequences. Even if he's Jungkook. Is the company protecting its assets or punishing its rebels? One cannot overlook the disturbing pattern. Not long ago, a similar storm surrounded Jimin when reports leaked about his denied leave request despite a family emergency. Now, it's Jungkook's mother, reportedly left standing outside the very agency her son built his life around. Is this a coincidence, or a clear sign of how loyalty is being tested behind closed doors? And what about the other members? Taehyung, known to be close to Jungkook, has remained publicly quiet. Jeon, freshly returned from his own military duties, has yet to mention Jungkook's homecoming plans. Fans are beginning to wonder if the internal culture of silence is more than just professionalism, it's survival. Still, fans cling to hope that Jungkook will break the silence. That he'll post, that he'll speak, that he'll tell them what they so desperately want to hear. I'm okay. She's okay. We'll be okay. But until then, the speculation won't stop, nor will the questions. Why would a company deny a mother's request to see her son? Why now? And most chilling of all, if Jungkook's own mother has no access to him, who really does? As the days passed, the silence from Jungkook and HYBE only deepened the mystery. Fans scoured every interview, every tweet, every passing glance for a hint of what might be happening behind the scenes. Social media was flooded with questions. Was Jungkook truly trapped in a contract he no longer believed in? Was the agency's grip tightening so much that even his family was being cut off? How far would HYBE go to maintain control over their most valuable asset? There was no shortage of theories. Some speculated that this was a tactic, an intentional move to pressure Jungkook into compliance before his official discharge. Others feared this might be the calm before a storm, a public fallout between Jungkook and HYBE, a split that could change the K-pop industry forever. One thing was certain: Jungkook's story was no longer just about an idol's military service. It had evolved into a dramatic narrative of freedom, control, and the struggle for identity within the unforgiving machine of K-pop. Industry insiders whispered about the immense pressure idols face. Behind the glitz and glamour, there were contracts that spanned years, clauses that forbade personal projects, and restrictions that blurred the lines between personal life and corporate interests. Jungkook, once the bright-eyed rookie, had grown weary of being a puppet in a system that prioritized profits over people, and yet, the question that haunted everyone remained. If Jungkook was ready to break free, what price would he have to pay? The image of his mother crying outside the HYBE building became a symbol of the battle between family love and corporate ambition. It was a reminder that beneath the fame and the fanfare, there were human stories filled with pain, sacrifice, and longing. What will Jungkook choose? Will he fight for his independence and risk everything? Or will the weight of the system pull him back into the shadows? For now, fans wait, hearts heavy with hope and fear. The saga continues, and the world watches closely, wondering what the next chapter will reveal. The image of Jungkook's mother standing helplessly before the towering glass walls of HYBE's headquarters spread like wildfire across social media. Fans were stunned, not just by the sight of a grieving mother, but by the sheer implication of what it represented. How could a family be so thoroughly shut out from their own son's life? What internal forces within the agency were powerful enough to enforce such a cold barrier? This was no longer a simple story of military discharge or idol management. It was becoming a symbol of a larger conflict, one that questioned the humanity within the entertainment industry. For years, Jungkook had been celebrated as the golden boy of BTS, a beacon of talent and dedication. Yet now, behind the scenes, the shadows told a different story, one of isolation, control, and a fight for personal freedom that few dared to speak of publicly. The rumors hinted at a labyrinth of contract disputes, clauses that restricted Jungkook's ability to communicate freely, decisions that kept his mother at a distance, and a tightening grip from HYBE as his discharge day approached. Insiders whispered that HYBE, in their desperation to maintain the perfect image and the lucrative machine of BTS, had pushed boundaries that many would find unethical. The agency's reluctance to allow Jungkook's mother access was not just a matter of security protocols, it was a calculated move that struck at the very core of family bonds. Jungkook himself was reportedly overwhelmed. Military service, already a difficult transition for any idol, became a crucible of emotional turmoil. Away from the stage, away from the fans, isolated and under immense pressure, he grappled with feelings of betrayal and confusion. The once bright and optimistic young man now questioned the very system that had propelled him to superstardom. In private moments, Jungkook is said to have confided in close military colleagues, expressing deep doubts about who he could trust, not only within the industry, but among his own circle. The fracture wasn't just with HYBE, it seemed to ripple within BTS itself. Was the famed brotherhood cracking under the strain? And if so, could it ever be repaired? The fans' outpouring of support grew louder, yet it also brought a bittersweet realization. Their idol, the one they had cheered for through every concert and comeback, was fighting a silent battle they could only glimpse through fragmented news and leaked statements. Questions remain unanswered. Will Jungkook be able to reconcile with HYBE, or is this the beginning of a permanent split? How much influence does an agency really hold over an idol's personal and family life? And most poignantly, what will it take for Jungkook to find peace? On his own terms, the story continues to unfold in real time, a gripping drama of fame, loyalty, and the price of dreams. One thing is clear, the world will be watching, waiting for Jungkook's next move, hoping that the boy who once dreamed of shining bright will find a way to reclaim his light.